Now, planting your garden is one thing, but we also want to make sure it looks gorgeous. So here to show us how is Sarah Gunn. Sarah, how can we enhance our gardens?
Well, you can enhance it with a little bit of decor when it's done really well. It can also guide how you shape your garden, how you move through it. And let's be honest, here in the winter, it can give you something pretty to look at when all of the flowers have disappeared on us, right? But the first thing is to think about you want to elevate what is already so beautiful in your garden, the plants and the flowers. You don't want to compete with those. So if you have a lot of really colorful flowers in your garden, you want to stick with some more neutral pots and planters. Like this one's beautiful here. It's got a really lovely pattern, but that's going to really kind of steal the show a little bit in your outdoor garden. So what you want to do instead, if you want to have a little bit of pattern trace, you can still do that, but just with like single color patterns, something like this, or this is a really pretty simple design so that it's going to, like I said, enhance what you already have going on.
Lovely. Okay, you've got a really good tip on the pots we're choosing and how we should be displaying them. What can you tell us about that?
Well, just like when you're decorating inside your home, designers always say group items together and it makes it feel more curated and more styled. I like to do the same thing with my pots. This is a great idea if you have a small patio garden or if you have a flat surface outside that you really want to bring some plants to. Gather a bunch of pots, all in the same color tone. I went with just the classic terracotta here, and in different shapes and sizes and heights. Group them all together and it feels like a collection. I think this would be really great for an herb garden as well. You can put them on a tray like I have here and it feels really styled.
Well, Frankie talked about natural light in the garden, but now let's talk about adding artificial light to the garden.
Totally. We've got all the practical lighting things I think covered over the years. We know about pathway lighting and the string lights and all that sort of fun stuff. I wanted to show you more decorative ones. So these I love. And you'll find all of these things that I have on this table from Sheridan Nurseries. These are solar powered, lights. They look like vintage glass jars. I absolutely love them. And I just think nestling those throughout your garden would add a really pretty sparkle. Or these I think are so pretty. Again, they're solar things on the top there. And they're like an iridescent, imagine these hanging from branches on your tree in your backyard would be so pretty. Or if you want to add more of like a statement piece to your garden. Let me see if I can hold these without hitting myself. These are like sculpture for your garden. And again, there's solar panels on there and they light up in your garden. This feels like a flame to me. They're just so pretty.
Oh, I love that. I love that, adding some visual interest. And you've taken us like way beyond just doing the fairy lights, but I love those little twinkly lights too. Now, you also suggest maybe we want to shop around our house and maybe use a few household items in our garden.
Totally. I love repurposing things from your home and bringing them outside. Vintage tins like this only get prettier with age. So I love using those for plants. Put a little bit of rocks in the bottom for drainage. Or if you have one of these caddies, that you bring them outside for your dinners outside. If you're not using it, plant it with some herbs and then you can have it outside. And what I love, these usually have a handle. You can bring them back in the house to use when you're cooking dinner, if you're that fancy. Or baskets are a really hot trend for plants right now too. You just want to line them with plastic. This one already happens to have a plastic liner in there just to protect it, or get super creative. So I had this chair in the garage. We're cleaning out our garage last weekend, and I think I used it on the show before, and I lost the seat. I don't know what I was doing for that segment, but it's gone. So I have this big crock, and I'm just going to turn it into a planter. So I'm just going to you can get a beautiful potted plant from your garden center. I'm using faux flowers right now. And this is a great way if you have, a hand-me-down piece from a relative that doesn't really fit with your interior decor, you could nestle this in the corner of your backyard and it would be so sweet.
Okay, if those faux florals are from Gunn & Co., sold, put my name on the list. I feel like you created them for someone like me. They're gorgeous, they're low maintenance, they last forever. Absolutely beautiful, so congrats on those. Lastly, your final touch on making your garden a calm space, Sarah.
You know what? I'm an East Coast gal. I love the sound of water. So a fountain in your backyard just adds that beautiful, calming sound. And they're decorative. They're really beautiful now too. So that to me is just like the final touch.
That's really nice. When it comes to putting together sort of any kind of an outdoor water element, do you usually do that stuff yourself or do you get some help? Or is this all on Jamie? Or do you get like professional help?
You're sharing all my secrets. Okay, I am the idea gal. And then Jamie usually has to implement all of them. But I'm very supportive. I'm very supportive and very appreciative of every single thing he does. Now, if you're going to dig a hole and put a pond in your backyard, that's for a professional. But I mean, if you're buying a beautiful fountain and bringing it home, that's a Jamie job.
I feel ya, honey, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sarah, thank you so much for helping us get our gardens from okay to gorgeous. I think that it's a great thing for us all to look forward to this time of